Hi friends, strangers, internet. My name is Emily Hanhan and I love colorful makeup and colorful language. And today we are back for another new makeup nonsense. I know it's been a while. If you missed it, we did do a live episode of New Makeup Nonsense with the Half Cousins podcast. If I remember, I will have it linked in the description box. But even since then, it has been a while since Theresa and I have done one of these videos. If you don't know what the New Makeup Nonsense is, it is our bingo game that is based on new makeup releases and kind of cliches in the makeup world. So we have bingo cards that you can pick from. We have a community playlist and some hashtags. All of the information and the links are in the description box as well. So if you're a creator and you want to play along, please feel free to do so. Upload the videos, let us know, add it to the playlist. We love watching it, we love doing it. And basically, the bingo cards are full of like kind of cliches of the makeup world. And Theresa and I pick a grouping of new releases to talk about. And also I wanted to let you know these are recorded a couple days in advance, anywhere between Sunday and Tuesday of the week that it's going up. So if you're seeing other new releases and you want to hear our 2 cents on them, we'll probably talk about them in a future video, but hopefully we'll cover most of the kind of interesting or stupid releases happening right now. So I have my laptop over here if you see me looking in this direction. I have my beverage for tonight. It is hard apple cider spiked with bourbon, so a double dose of alcohol. So the new release, the new makeup release goddesses wanted me to shit talk from the jump because the very first release up is the Morphe and James Charles mini palette. I mean, I think probably one of my best moments in one of the recent new makeup videos was me shit talking him. So I think a lot of you know where I'm coming from. This mini palette though. So if you don't know, basically James Charles had this big half rainbow, half neutral palette, or rainbow with neutrals palette come out a year ago with Morphe, and he acted like it was the most amazing thing ever, and it was the, you know, he'd spent all this time making it, blah blah blah. Well, a year later he has released the exact same palette but smaller with a mirror, and it's supposed to be earth-shattering amazingness, whatever, but it's the same palette. When this was launched, that was like the same week that I had the opportunity to hang out with Karen, Amy, and Angelica, and they all had like great points about this that I'm just gonna rehash. This makes total sense as to why James Charles freaked the fuck out over Wet n Wild releasing a dupe of his palette, because the mini palette is still more expensive than the Wet n Wild palette. The mini palette is still $26, which I think the Wet n Wild palette is under $20. It's a Morphe palette. They could have done this from the first launch. They could have done this mini size from the first launch. That would have made so much more sense. And then the other thing, like, I think Karen was the one, she had all these brilliant ideas for what this release could have been. Morphe could have done knockoffs of the 9-pan Colourpop things. Like, they could have expanded on each color story. They could have done so much. They could have done a palette that had different shades that were rainbow, but you know, different, unique to the original. You're gonna sit there and say like you didn't want to make a new palette because you claimed that the original palette was like the holy grail and the only one that you needed, but it's really frustrating when other makeup enthusiasts have like a million better ideas than these big brands that have fuck tons of money do. It's just a total scam. It's a total scam. Like, there are so many other options out there to spend $26 and get more for your money than this. I'm giving that James Charles palette a product or a collab that won't die, because come on James, come on. Bullshit. So the next release up is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh concealers. These are hyaluronic acid creamy concealers. They're $9 each. It looks like they have 30 shades, neutral, warm, and cool tones. The shade range looks a little weird, like some of the colors look a little gray, but this whole Pretty Fresh line is interesting to me. And this one gives me major copycat vibes because it reminds me of my dearest most favorite concealer, the Too Faced Born This Way Sculpting Concealer. So I'm interested. I did not like the Colourpop, the original concealer. I tried it, didn't work as an eye base, didn't like it. But this one, it's on my list. I want to see reviews. I want to try it. I hope it comes to Ulta. I see Ultas have been expanding their Colourpop displays, and the more Colourpop items that I can swatch in store and see in store, the happier I am, because I do not like blindly shopping online. Their products are not just so cheap that I can blindly shop. Like I need that guidance. So we'll see about this one. I don't need any concealer right now, but I see you, Colourpop, and I'm giving you a drink. So the next release that I got in my random wheel picker is this Essence Advent Calendar. I added this to our mix of pictures basically because I saw Seeking Alexandria's video on this and was disgusted at how cheap this advent calendar is. If you have not seen her video unboxing the full advent calendar, page of Seeking Alexandria is just an amazing creator. She's been going through some like channel transitions right now, and I love everything she's kind of putting up now, what she has done in the past, and I'm here for it all. Thank you, Theresa, for telling me about Paige and her channel. Spoiler, the stuff that's in the Essence Advent Calendar is all hot garbage, and it's $45. It definitely looked like it was focused on basically kids, but here's the thing, Essence actually does have some decent makeup out there. Like, they do great mascaras. I think some of their lip products are solid. If that calendar had been sprinkled in with some of their better quality stuff, I could totally see it being worth $45, but it had like temporary tattoos and hair scrunchies and like gift tags, and advent calendars are basically bundle deals that nobody wants, but certain brands do them really well. There are certain brands that do advent calendars like in a way that makes me want them real bad, but I also know that they're often full of products that I don't want. They might have like 24 squares and I'm interested in 6 products. Most likely it's cheaper just to buy the 6 products you're interested in than it is to buy an advent calendar, but I do have a soft spot in my heart at the concept of advent calendars. But this one looks like literal hot garbage. So the next release up is the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. This palette, I like it. It's pretty. It satisfies all of like the parts of me, like all of my makeup loving. Sorry, that doesn't make any sense. This palette is pretty. I've already duped it out with single shadows on my channel. I'll try to remember to link that in the cards and in the description box. I don't think I'm gonna buy this palette, but it's tempting me. But I saw it in person. I played around with the swatches in person. I think it's really, really pretty, and it makes me super excited to see this kind of palette hit a mainstream shop like Sephora, because there are some of those shadows in there that are what you see in the Kaleidos palettes and like what you see in some of the indie brands. I also love a pastel matte and shimmery color story, but it's not too pastel. I'm not gonna buy it because I do feel like the shadows that I have in my collection are more exciting to me. My JD Glow and my Kaleidos shimmery shadows and glittery shadows. But it's a pretty one. The other reason why I'm not as like eager to buy it is that it's pretty strongly half neutral, half colorful. If there had been like a few more colorful shades thrown in, if it maybe just the bottom row had been neutral and the first and second rows had been more colorful, I would probably have it in my VIB sale cart. But right now I'm just kind of admiring it as a beautiful piece of work, but not bringing it home with me for now. So the next release up are these new 9-pan palettes from Colourpop that are exclusive to Ulta. They're $12 each. There's Birds of Paradise, which is peaches and corals. There's Lovebird, which is romantic peaches and mauves, and Night Owl, which is warm tone neutrals and bronzes. I bought one already. So this is Lovebird. It's a 9-pan palette, but there's no mirror. It's one of their cardboard packages, and it has 3 pressed glitters, 2 kind of shimmers, 3 mattes, and 1 matte with like glitter in it. It's what I have in my eyes today, actually. When I saw these online, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, Colourpop. They keep releasing things exclusive to Ulta that are also quite similar, in my opinion, to what they have on their website already. I ended up buying this because I found that in person, Lovebird to me was a really nice complement between the Ooh La La Bright Pink palette and the Strawberry Shake Warm Pink palette. I don't own either of those. So with the 20% off coupon, getting this for a little over $9 felt like it was a good purchase choice, but it still feels really repetitive. And if you're one of those people that like buys a lot of what Colourpop releases, what they're releasing to Ulta does not feel special or unique. It's just another Colourpop release. Kind of without question, the biggest release lately is this conspiracy collection with Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson. I almost just said Jeffree Dawson and Shane Star. That's how strong this is. Okay. I'm trying really hard to like separate trying to say I'm trying to separate like art from the artist, but that's not what I'm doing at all. Fuck that. When I saw the conspiracy palette when it was first revealed, I don't find it that intriguing or attractive, and neither do I find the mini controversy palette that way. Do I think that the outside packaging is kind of interesting? Yes, but bulky? Yes. Do I think they kind of killed it with the merch? Yeah. But the actual makeup, the colors of the liquid lipsticks and the colors in these palettes don't really inspire me at all. I don't watch Jeffree. I don't watch Shane. I have been watching their series though, because I was curious, and because I felt like it was being, when I first heard about it, I thought it was being marketed as this like earth-shattering, we're gonna like reveal all this about the industry, and I wasn't sure if that was gonna be just drama or what. It has been kind of interesting to see their process, although I feel like they could have showed more and less other bullshit. I'm not drawn to either palette. I don't think that either palette inspires me. I think the middle row on the Conspiracy palette definitely like makes my bright, colorful, loving ass excited. But the top row is so unfriendly to anybody that has any melanin in their skin. And I guess I just don't see it all as a vision. And I think the theme is something they could have like taken so far in the actual colors, not just in the names and the stamps, but I don't feel like they've figured out a color story that was like either cohesive or super interesting. I still like, yes, they've shown Shane getting more into makeup during the process of the series, but I just feel like this is such a money grab, and this is such a situation where Shane saw money in the industry and has this friendship and decided to cash in. So this is just a collab with somebody that's not known for their makeup, and I'm sure you're all gonna call me haters or whatever. It's just not for me. It's not for me. So the next release up is one that I found on Indie Makeup Spotlight, run by the dear Amy Loves Makeup. This is the Little Kitty Big City palette from Kitten Boss Cosmetics. I've never personally tried anything from Kitten Boss Cosmetics, but I've heard people talking about them here and there a little bit more often. I think the thing that made me want to add this to the things to talk about, it was kind of giving me Cleona Archeo or Paleo palette vibes. Something about the blues and greens of the gold background of the palette kind of reminded me of them. It's kind of cool to see some of these indie brands go from single eyeshadows to like full palettes. I know a lot of people that find single eyeshadows overwhelming or just not something that they reach for. So, you know, if this palette got somebody more intrigued to try an indie brand over single eyeshadows, that's cool. It wouldn't be the thing that gets me to buy from Kitten Boss Cosmetics, but it's a cat themed makeup brand, so thank you for putting them on my radar, Amy. So the next released up are these two new mini palettes from Urban Decay. They're mini on the run. They have a Highway Queen and a G-Train palette. G-Train palette, it makes me crack the hell up because the G-Train is like the most hated train in New York City. It runs only within Brooklyn and Queens, and it's like the ghost train that never shows up. And that palette has like two greens and a gold and some warm tone kind of browns and coppers. And then Highway Queen is like all warm neutrally tones. I don't know. I love the idea of a good like 6 to 9 pan palette size, but neither of these, I don't know. They keep doing these like on the run minis and I want to like them, but none of them do it for me. Especially when they keep releasing like basic ass neutral ones. Yeah. Next release up is yet another lip gloss, this time from Artist Couture. Excuse me. This is the Artist Couture Plush Pouts, 3 different shades with a creamy finish, no shimmer, and they're plumping. I've actually never tried anything. Let me move this. I have not tried anything from Artist Couture. Their loose highlighters, their pressed highlighters, their little eyeshadow palette, or their glosses. They're just one of those influencer brands that feels, I don't know. I guess I just don't feel like I've even touched the target market for them. They're at Sephora, so if I saw them in store and like swatched them and felt some kind of way, maybe I'd buy them. But I have a lot of lip glosses I like already, and I'm actually not super into plumping lip glosses. They might be good, but yeah. I don't remember if I drank for yet another lip gloss, so So we have a face product release from Jouer. This is their Holiday 2019 blush and highlight palette. I don't like this packaging. I don't like the pan sizes. This is the Rose Cut Jewels palette from Jouer. This has 6 blushes and a highlighter. It looks like the 1/2 are like warm tone blushes and 1/2 are more cool tone blushes. And the highlighter called Diamond in the Rough looks super glittery. So many people that have seen this palette are like,
OMFG, the highlighter, it looks amazing.
If it's actually like a pretty glittery highlighter without a lot of base color, I could get behind that. But to me, what I see with that is like a really strong gold highlighter that also has glitter. And for me and my skin tone and highlight loves, that's not what I'm going for. I really like the Jouer blush formula, but I feel like when they release these larger palettes, the quality of the palette is kind of garbage. So the blush duo that I have from Jouer, this packaging is so nice. It's sturdy, there's a mirror, it closes solid. The last blush bouquet, or the last blush palette that they released that had multiple colors in it was just this like cheap cardboard packaging that didn't even stay shut. And this one looks like it's probably, again, another cheap cardboard packaging. I totally get cardboard packaging because I know it's much more environmentally friendly, but I think it's something hard that when you start releasing with this kind of packaging and then you go to like a style of packaging that feels cheaper and less well thought out for a bigger item, I have a hard time kind of swallowing that change. So I don't think this is a palette for me, but I am a sucker for face palettes, so that might change, but I don't think it's for me. I don't think so. I'm gonna give that drink is for the millennial pink packaging that this blush palette has. Trying to get to bingo somehow, some way. Not very successful right now though. So next up we have the Physicians Formula Rosé All Play eyeshadow palette. Gag me with a spoon for that name. Sorry, I don't know if that just hit me the wrong way. This is a 12 pan eyeshadow palette. I don't know the price. Physicians Formula is kind of expensive usually in the drugstore. Okay, I haven't tried any of the Physicians Formula's eyeshadows. I hear people say positive things about their like butter palettes that have been out recently, but nothing has drawn me in to buy it. I don't think I would buy this either, but some people have been comparing it to the Huda Beauty New Nudes palette because some of the shadows have that speckled texture, speckled color in them. I'm pretty suspect on almost any drugstore eyeshadow, so I think if I personally wanted a new nudes dupe, I would actually buy from Alter Ego. I would get their actual dupe. This palette just kind of looks like pretty rose embossing with a pretty basic product. I don't know how anyone drinks with a straw on camera and doesn't make some terrible mouth noises, so my apologies. Okay, I just looked this up. I'm not an Alter Ego affiliate or anything like that, but that Physicians Formula Rosé All Play palette is $18, and the Alter Ego Daydream palette is also $18, and they do have affiliate codes. I don't know the quality of either, so like don't take this as an endorsement of either one, but I'm just letting you know. So the next release up is from Pat McGrath. This is the Mothership VI Divine Rose eyeshadow palette. I think it's technically Mothership VII in the US, but it's right now only being released at Selfridges in the UK, and it's Mothership VI there. It's $120. I don't know. I know there are so many people out there that love the Pat McGrath palettes and swear by them and like hardcore love them. I don't get it. So this looks like a very high-end soft glam palette. For their brand, I don't think this is a bad release because I think every brand can have like a really good neutral palette. But seeing this release is what inspired me to do my Every Makeup Brand Wants Your Money video, because I realized when I saw this release that this was the 7th palette that Pat McGrath had released this year. It's a really expensive brand to be releasing 7 palettes. And I guess it just made me feel a kind of way, because I feel like it's such a example of how every makeup brand just is releasing so much. And my cats are playing in the background, so if you hear a lot of background noise, that's what it is. And the weirdest thing about all of this is that there's not even like swatches right now on November 5th. I don't see swatches or pictures on the Pat McGrath social media for this palette. So I don't even know if there's multi-chromes or pressed glitters or whatever in this palette, because I can't really see anything besides the one picture that's on Trend Mood. I don't think it's a terrible addition to their product line, but I also really wonder just how many palettes every single brand needs to release these days. That's all. I'm gonna drink, not because it's on my bingo card, but because I need a drink after that. Okay, so the next release up is another indie release. This is from the brand Kristin Lee. This is their Autumn Vibes quad. This is a beautiful little quad. There's like a really metallic green. There's like a gold that almost has a whitish green shift to it. And then an orangey red color and a more red tone. I'm a big fan of quads. And I think this is a really interesting way to try maybe a new brand to you. It is $27, which feels a little expensive for a quad for me. But it's also pretty, and it's like multi-chrome duochrome shades. I don't think I'm gonna buy it because I'm not like a warm tone kind of loving bitch. I'm more of a greeny tone, greens and yellows kind of lover. Okay, so the next release. The next release is this full Norvina collection. This is an end cap that's happening in Sephora and supposedly is now Sephora exclusive, that features the 3 25 pan palettes from Norvina, the eyelashes and glitter, and 2 mini 9 pan palettes. I think my biggest criticism with this, and this I'm gonna equally give to Norvina and Sephora, is I feel like this could have been done in such a smarter way. I don't know if they hold the blame equally or if one holds the blame more than another, but I feel like the two kind of brands both dropped the ball. I think realistically Sephora knew that they were doing this kind of launch, that they shouldn't have launched the palettes before then, or I don't know how, like I don't know. I just think that in some ways I see how this makes sense for the ABH brand. I do, because I think that there has been this like kind of static reliance on the 14 pan format. It's cool to see ABH do like more true color, but the whole thing just feels kind of tainted in its release. And I'm giving this the spot on the card, a new influencer brand collab, because the reality is that there's parts of Norvina that are very, very much an influencer. I also personally think she has worked her way up within the company to build this out. So like, I do think she's deserving in some ways, but I also think she is very much an influencer in other ways, including how she does her PR searches, her whole Halloween party thing, all of that. So while I think that like I think there's validity to this line, I also think there's a lot of things that got fucked up in the process. Okay, I think we have reached the end of the video because we are on to the Melt Amor Eterno holiday release. Excuse my terrible Spanish. This collection, I've given Melt a lot of shit. I think that there are a lot of things that they release that like I don't get the hype, or I think that whatever, like I don't necessarily think that they're like the most groundbreaking items, but holy shit, the whole artwork and vision behind this collection. So okay, so this is 2 eyeshadow palettes. These are some potted gel liners, some brushes, a ridiculously beautiful skull embossed highlighter, and some liquid lipsticks. The 2 eyeshadow palettes, one is warm tone, it's kind of greens, yellows, oranges, and reds, and the other is more smoky greens, blues, reds. And when you put the 2 palettes together, they make a sugar skull artwork between the two. The highlighter, like I said, is embossed with a skull and other textures. Just, I gotta give them props on like just doing this collection in the most gorgeous and beautiful way. The reason why I know we're at the end of the bingo card is because I'm giving them the holiday releases with the most extra packaging, because I just think that the whole 2 halves of the palette coming together to create a full skull, and each palette being half a skull in that beautiful color palette that is relevant to that palette, just fucking beautiful, man. I don't know if I'm particularly drawn to actually buy any of these products, but I respect and have an admiration for all of them. And just to give you a quick run through, both palettes are $58. The highlighter is $39. The gel liners are $19 each. They have liquid lipsticks that are $19 each, and then they have brushes that range in price from $12 to $25 each. Bags, and you can get the full collection for $295. If you haven't seen the artwork that they've also done for this release, like the makeup, just go look at the Melt Instagram account. Like, I don't know, for a brand that I have definitely criticized in the past, I think they straight up killed this collection. And they partnered with an artist for the artwork on the different palettes, which I think is also why I instantly wanted to give them the most extra packaging spot on the bingo card, because I just think it's so cool when you actually see creative people in makeup pairing up with creative people outside of makeup. Okay, I have ranted and raved enough. I've given Melt their props. I've hit bingo. I've finished my beverage. So it's time for me to go. If you enjoyed this video and you are not yet subscribed, I would love to have you as a new subscriber to my channel. Follow along with all my colorful shenanigans. I want to hear from you. Give me your opinions, whether they're like bitter, happy, sassy, wherever you're coming from. I want to hear your thoughts on these releases too. Thank you for spending a bit of your day with me. I hope to see you again real soon. Bye, friends.